welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite looking sleds. This is not based on performance or ability in the backcountry. This is 100% what I think looks cool. So let me know if you agree, disagree, what sleds you think look cool, what I missed. So you can jump right into number 5. That is, to me, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this because everybody makes so much fun of it. And when it came out, I saw all of it. So it is the Skidoo Gen 5. I mean, I saw it. It looked like the guy from that dinosaur show. Looked like a Ninja Turtle. It looked like kind of weird. But since I've spent a season riding mine, it now looks mean to me and tough. And I like the way it looks. So yeah, number 5 could change if somebody brought up a really cool looking sled to me. But that's my number 5. Number 4 is the Polaris Pro. The Polaris Pro, I'm gonna go even further in this one. I like it so much because it looks a lot like my number 1 favorite sled, but we'll talk about that later. I like the way it looked, especially I think it was the 2012, the black and red. I thought it was really cool. Now, I will say as an extension to number 4 and the Pro, even up until today, Polaris has, I think, a really great looking sled. With the Axis and the 9R and the Boost, the Slash, I think are great looking sleds. Especially when they get them like wrapped in suspension on them. Really cool looking sleds, I think. Number 3. This is a sled I've thought has looked cool for a long time. And a lot of these sleds are nostalgic for me. So number 3 is the Arctic Cat, like the M series, but the old M series. This one, the like 2011 sled. And I think it looks cool. I think it just, I don't know. It was coming out of that era. I guess Skidoo had already really gone right or forward. But it was coming out of that era of the forward engine. And so it's kind of that last mean looking sled of the engine forward series, or like era of sleds. And I just think it looks cool, and I've always liked them. And especially, I'll show you this one. I think looks super cool. Number 2. My number 2 sled is one that I've liked since I was a kid, and it was actually my first sled, the ZX chassis, the Skidoo ZX chassis. This one, for me, I remember as a kid, like looking at it and just thinking, man, that thing looks like slick. It has cool lines. It looks really nice. And so I have a 2001. So I think the 2001, 2002 are kind of my 2 favorite years of it. I don't know if it went much back much further than that. Maybe it started in 2000 to 2003. But I like the graphic kit on the 2001 is what I have. And then the watercross sled is also a 2002. But I just love the lines, the look of it. The one thing I always wished is that the back sat up a little bit higher, it had a bigger rake. But that would have done nothing other than looks for it. And maybe one day I'll get one and hot rod it like that. But I don't think it would really add any performance-ish things. It would just be for looks, totally for looks. But yeah, I like both the yellow and the black. I think they had a gray one as well, if I remember right. Let me know if I'm right or not in the comments there. But that to me was a great sled, and the engine ran really well for me. It always did. I had a lot of fun on it, but looks, I remember in the parking lot, just looking at this guy. He had must have been a 2001 700 Summit, and man, just thinking, wow, this thing is just clean, great lines, just cool sled. It was the yellow. Did I say it was the yellow one? It was the yellow one. Just looked cool, and it had a long track. Back then, it was like a 150, 151, and I thought, wow, this thing is long and it's cool. Yeah, it's just always been a sled I've loved the look of. And my 600 that I have, I took the windshield off and I thought that looked really cool. It was really cold, and I put super tall handlebar risers on it, and I thought that looked cool, and I took off the snow flap and I thought that looked cool. But I think for next season, putting the windshield back on, I put lower bar risers on it. Yeah, just cool sled. All right, number one, and this has been a sled that I have loved from the beginning of my snowmobiling. I have just always thought that this sled was super cool. It was the first cool sled that I ever rode. So it's the Polaris XLT. I think a lot of people like this sled. I think it's the wedge chassis is like a cool looking chassis. As you know, I have two of them. I love it. The triple is a cool sound, but we're not talking about that. It's just purely looks. It was just always like, I remember when they changed from that chassis, I was like, well, maybe I could just take the new engine and put it in that old chassis, you know, so I get the new engine in the old chassis. Anyways, I loved it, the look of it so much. And I thought it was, and I still think it is, obviously, just a really cool snowmobile. I don't think I appreciated it back then, but I do now, like the purple and the blue. I'm looking at one right now. Just like kind of a cool combo of colors. And I'm going to build a hot rod one day. And I want to incorporate that all into it because it's such a not unique. I mean, there's so many of them made. That's not unique, but like it was such a cool snowmobile to me. Like being out on the trail, and this guy would let me borrow his if he wasn't going out riding, which was super cool of him. I don't know why he did it, and he had the low windshield on it, and it was fast, and man, I just felt so freaking cool riding that old XLT. But I like the 94s are probably my favorite. I don't know, I just really like them. Yeah, so that's my top 5. I will say, as a bonus or whatever, the F7 Arctic Cat, if you find the right one, it's like green and black. Maybe I'll try to find a cool picture of it and show you here. But that sled to me was really cool. There was a guy, I remember I was riding that guy's XLT, and we were on this lake in Colorado near Tin Cup Pass, and we were drag racing, and he had this Arctic Cat, and it had like this scoop on the front, and he had a thing on the handlebars. He could adjust his suspension. I was like, wow, that's a cool looking sled. And I did grow up building hot rods with my dad, and so like the way a car looks is like, I don't know, it just means something to me. And so nowadays, like, I guess, I mean, I do like the way that the Gen 5 looks, but more I ride that one because I like the way it performs and the way it's reliable and it's treated me. But yeah, the look of like the older snowmobiles I have is huge to me. I have some older sleds that I don't think look super cool. Like I have this Arctic Cat Cougar. It's just kind of a sled. And then, I mean, it's a wedge chassis, but the old 2-up, I don't particularly think it looks that great. Maybe if I cleaned it up and did some stuff, it would look cool, but I have some funny ideas for that. So let me know what your top 5 are. Let me know if you like this. We can do some more. I have tons of top 5s of things. We could do performance, we could do coolest sounding, we could do dumbest looking I have a lot of those. So anyways, videos every Wednesday and Saturday and shorts every other day.